If you guys can see me, put a heart in the chat because I'm trying to see if I'm connected before we start. But Grand Rising, everybody. Hey, beautiful souls. Put a heart in the chat if you can see me. Put a heart in the chat if you guys can see me. I am not seeing it. It says streaming. If you guys are in the room, put a heart in the chat so I know that you guys are there so we can start. It says it's going. Facebook. Let's see. YouTube. Okay. YouTube is going. Okay. All right. So we're just going to start. I just don't see it on TikTok. So we are streaming live right now on YouTube and TikTok. All right. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. Grand Rising, beautiful souls. Welcome to today's live. I am so glad that you guys are here today. We're diving into healing tips. Today is going to be a Q&A about healing and about retreats. Some of you may have gone to a retreat. You may have not. You may have thought about it like as a recharge, a getaway, or what have you. But we're going to dive in, and I can't wait to connect with you guys. So grab a cup of coffee, grab a cup of tea, water, your favorite beverage, whatever it is. Get comfy, and let's do this together. Let me see what that was. Okay. So, where are you guys joining from today? Drop your city and state in the chat so I can see where you guys are tuning in from. Okay. If this is your first time joining me live or just being part of the family already, um, saying hi to everybody that's new and welcome back to everybody that's returning. I don't go live often. I'm going to change that to see, not to see, but to actually go live more often. Got one person in the chat. Okay. Yeah, put in your city and state as to where you're tuning in from. So today we're going to create a safe space for everyone to um, talk about things that are bothering them, and not so much as bothering them, but maybe you've had some challenges going on right now, especially in today's economy and things that are going on all over the world. So we're just going to create a safe space. So I've got, you guys can put it in the chat. And if it's something personal that you guys don't want other people to see, you can message me privately during this live and I can see it and I will address it, but I won't say your name or who it's from or anything like that. I'll answer your questions and we can discuss whatever it is without other people knowing. And that's how we're going to create this safe space. So tell me what made you click on this live today. Was it something that you just were scrolling and you just happened to land on it? Was it something that you just said, oh well, I'm going to go with scrolling because I don't go live enough to know or have enough subscribers for you guys to know when I go live. Okay, let's just be honest. I don't go live that often. I haven't gone live in, oh goodness, in a while. Okay, because I've been working so much and moving and trying to get acclimated to where I can go live and create more videos. And I just been doing things behind the scenes, as far as social media, just posting. So, and I haven't been doing too much with YouTube at all. So I'm trying to get, uh, be more involved with that. And I stumbled upon this way. I listened to Spirit, let Spirit guide me as to how I can connect with more of you guys, how I can show up more. Okay. And when you show up more for yourself, it it shows others that they can show up for themselves also. Okay. That is, it's not hard. It's not hard at all. You can show up for yourself. So on the scale of 1 to 10, how's your energy today? 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. Are you guys feeling good? Are you guys feeling depressed? Are you in that blah, energy? I'm in Seattle. So if you're on this side of the the spectrum, or if you are in the Midwest, it may be kind of gloomy. And then if you're out of the country, just weather has a part to play in it. But then, you know, what are you going through that you may feel that way? And just be honest. We're not here to judge anybody. So we're just, like I said, we're just creating a safe space where we can just talk and just basically talk out our problems. Maybe you guys don't have somebody that you can talk to, okay? And by me coming on here, maybe it's giving you guys somewhere where you can talk to people, where you can interact with each other, okay? I also have a Facebook group where we can uh, talk to each other. And I'll put that up there, the Facebook group, where you guys can join and we can have discussions there and support each other. Don't forget, if you guys are just tuning in, just drop um, tell me in the chat what city and state you're checking in from. It's going to take a minute for people to come in. And for those of you that are checking in from TikTok, tap the screen. A piece of hair in my mouth. Tap the screen. Do your engagement. Okay, so the one word that's describing how I'm feeling right now is, I wouldn't say nervousness. I would say um hmm, This is something that make you guys think. I wouldn't say I'm nervous about things that are going on. Well, I guess I am nervous. I guess so. Yeah, because you don't know, you don't really know what's going to happen. Thought I heard something outside. You don't really know what's going to happen from day to day because of the economy and this administration and everything that's going on. But we won't get into that because this is not political. This is not political. This is healing. So I would say that. I would say that really don't know what's going to happen, you know? And I am in the healthcare industry, still working full time, and a lot of nurses are walking out. They're walking out. A lot of, because of the big beautiful bill, the part that has passed recently with Medicaid and Medicare, a lot of nursing homes and assisted livings are going to be shut down. The only thing that's gonna basically remain open is your rehabs and your hospitals. Okay, because, and I wouldn't say nursing homes are going to be shut down. Some will be shut down, but there are a lot of people that are private pay. Okay. As far as government assistance, that part will be, you know, decreased, because for those that rely on that funding and they don't have, you know, not everybody can pay out of pocket to stay in those places. Those places are like $4,000 or $5,000 a month. And if you, depending on where you are, some are a week, you know? So it just depends on where you fall. Depends on where you fall at in that. So, yeah, so it's kind of scary. So people are fearful of their jobs, cutting off food stamps and healthcare. That's scary, you know, and they are already a lot of people that are homeless because of the rent prices are so high, and then they want 2 and 3 times the amount of rent for a deposit and move in. You know, who has 3-4 grand to move in? You just have enough just to pay the rent. So I mean, that's that. It's really scary. It's really scary. Makes people nervous because they don't know where they're going to end up. Okay. So for those of you that don't really know where you're going to end up and what's going on and that are in healthcare, CNAs, nurses, it's time to do private duty. It's time to do private duty. Start your own agency, start your own uh, um, adult family homes, all of that. You know, it's so many different avenues you guys can go into. So many different avenues. And we're just going to have to go back to what our forefathers used to do. As far as living off the land, we're going to have to start canning and conserving. You know, we're going to have to go back to what our ancestors used to do. A lot of us don't even know how to do that anymore. I, for one, was not taught how to can. Okay. So if it wasn't for TikTok and social media and the internet, I wouldn't know how to do anything. I'm just now starting my vegan journey, you know, and I'm doing that 80/20. So I'm still eating meat, you know, learning how to make fake meat, so I can change my diet. So, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. So all of us have a story to tell. We all have a story to tell, and I have never told my story, and I'm going to tell my story today. So, what put me on this spiritual journey? And when I look back on it, I have been on this spiritual journey for most of my life. And a lot of us have. We don't know the signs to look for. We don't know what's going on. We don't even know how to recognize it. We just think that, or we've been told that, oh, it's just something that you're going through. It is just tough times or whatever. No, that's not it. You're going through a spiritual journey, whether it's for some people, it's more strenuous, it's more dramatic, it's more um, painful than others. Okay. Because when you're going through a spiritual awakening, it is not for the weak. You have to be strong. And if you're not strong, it's going to give you strength. It's going to give you strength. It is to make you change your life. So if you're going right and spirit wants you to go left or go straight, whether you want to or not, you're going to eventually go the way that you're supposed to go. Okay. Um, and that is just by having an experience, okay, which is called a spiritual awakening. It's just an experience. The experience it could be um it could be death, it could be uh it could be losing a job, it could be unexpected move. It is just something to shock your foundation to the core. It's going to throw you for a loop. Okay. That's all awakening is. It's just something that shocks you. It's nothing to be scared of. It's painful when you lose someone. It's painful when you go through a divorce. It's painful when you go through a separation, an eviction, whatever the case may be, even sickness. Okay. These are all examples of um, catalyst awakenings. It is something to get you to change direction, to look at you, do something better, especially if you lose your job, okay? Which is what we're experiencing in this administration in these times. You lose your job, you may lose your home, you may go, anything can happen, but it's to prepare you and make you strong and on the path where you can take care of yourself, okay? Where you don't need anyone and or where we can come together as a community to make each other stronger. So my story was and you have, let me back up, more than one awakening. You just don't have one. You have more than one. So I'm going to talk about the big one that was for me. The big one that was for me was it started in, I'd say it started 2000. Oh goodness, when did it start? I would say it started in 2000. 2013. My mom passed away 2012. And after that is when my finances started to go downhill from there. Yeah, 2013. That's when I separated from my husband. We were living in Colorado, and I had a child that was due to graduate high school. And so I was waiting for her to get out of high school and then take the youngest child. And we all were going to go to back to Michigan, where I'm from. So, um, and just start all over. So I did that, and it was kind of rough. Um, had a relationship, it was physically abusive. And I would say at that point, that was the catalyst for my spiritual awakening, because that is when I started listening to Spirit tell me to look up certain things on the internet as far as meditation, yoga, things um, that are healing for you. Okay. How to create a safe space. That's when I started doing traveling nursing from state to state instead of in the state of Colorado, which I did while the kids were little. So, um, make a long story short, that was the catalyst. Um, that was the catalyst for my awakening, because it was physically, emotional, um, and mentally abusive. Mentally abusive. Sorry, I'm just watching my daughter. She was sick this morning, so I'm just keeping eyes on her. But anyway, so it was just it was just abusive, and I got through it. But that's when I started to get into spirituality and understand what a spiritual awakening was, and the stages of it, and how to go through it. And I got into crystal healing, and um, working with different deities, working with their rishas. That's when I found out about hoodoo and stuff like that. So, um, and just realized that I could develop my own spirituality. Okay. I didn't have to dibble and dabble into hoodoo. I didn't have to do witchcraft. I grew up a Christian, so I didn't have to do that. I could develop my own, break away from social norms and what people tell you you should be doing, or this and that or whatever. I developed my own spirituality based on my own healing journey, my journey. And that's all spirituality is your journey. Okay. What works best for you? What do you believe in? Faith is what you believe in. Okay. So spiritual awakening is not anything that is faith based. And when I went through that, it made me grow a thicker skin, but that wasn't it. Because even though you go through the healing process, and you understand, and you 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 understand, and you recognize different people as they come into your life. You understand certain situations as far as jobs, dealing with family members or what have you. So for that, you just know how to engage with people, you know how to move around people, and you know how to implement it accordingly in your life. Okay? But you have to use discernment. You have to know when is the time to do certain things. And also, it teaches you how to pick your battles. So, when you go through that, and you have basically what I'm saying in a nutshell, I know I'm going all around the mulberry bush, but I want to cover all the bases. But you have to learn from the lessons. If you don't learn from the lessons, you're just going to repeat them. Okay? So the awakening is the catalyst to get you to learn the lessons, to recognize it, to go through the healing process, the dark night of the soul, the inner child work, the self-healing, okay, self-love, I mean, um, to get back to where you want to be in life, so that you can go to the next and pass the test, so that you can go to the next lesson. So when you do that, not when you do that. So for me, I thought that I had learned that lesson. But see, when you learn a lesson, there's a test that you have to go through to see if this is Spirit's way of seeing if you've actually learned that lesson. So my test was another relationship that I thought was beautiful. You know, I thought it was loving, it was caring, but then here we go. It wasn't physical, but it was emotional and mental abuse. Okay. To the point where this is why I say this was the biggest one. Because with this one, me personally, I feel that mental and emotional abuse is much harsher or worse than physical abuse. Because physical abuse, yeah, you have emotional scarring from it, but you can, to me, you can bounce back a lot better than you can emotional and uh, mental abuse. When you've been emotionally and mentally abused, you have so many things that are trigger warnings. That's when people start to become, uh, they start to become, what is it? Not claustrophobic. Well, yeah, become claustrophobic. They become introverts. Some people become mean. They just don't want to deal with anyone outside of their little circle. They created this little safe haven, and they don't want to deal with anybody outside of that because they're afraid. And they have anxiety, you know. So it's hard. It's really hard. So when I went through that, that was 3 years I dealt with that, trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, found out he was cheating. Um, then I said, I'm going to do everything in my power to uh, to stop this. You know, going through his phone and oh my goodness, just doing the most, the most. I was doing the most. And then finally, I just decided it was, enough was enough. And unfortunately, it was during COVID. And he said that enough was enough also. He said it was enough. And he decided that he was going to find someone that he could be with, which, was okay. And he did. He found someone that he could be with. And that didn't bother me. What bothered me and what hurt me more was the fact that I had moved out of my home. I had a townhouse for me and my daughter. I had moved out of my home. It was the onset of COVID, nowhere to go in North Dakota in November in the snow, so that the new girlfriend could move in. If that was the case, you could have left me where I was. I didn't care about the girlfriend. Women come and go, men come and go. I don't care. I'm not really a jealous person like that. I just don't. I feel like if you are in a relationship with me and you want to see someone else, be an adult and sit down and talk to me and let me know, look, this isn't working. I don't like this, yada yada whatever. And you know, I want to see other people. I want to break up. I want a divorce, whatever the case may be. Okay? Because people change. We grow apart. We start to want different things. So I mean, you could at least I value honesty above else, okay? And I can spot a liar. So and going through this spiritual journey, I now know how to read energies, which I've always known how to read energies, but I know the consequences of not paying attention to it. When you dismiss red flags, and that's just saying that, okay, I see it, but I'm just going to wait and see if things get better. People show you who they are from day one. And this man showed me who he was from day one. Looking back on it, everyone that I have encountered has shown themselves of who they were from day one. When you first meet someone, this is why they said the first impression means everything. When you first one, even though they wear a mask, people show you exactly who they are and what their true intentions are from the first few minutes of you meeting them. You just have to pay attention. But I'm going to tell you, when you go through this spiritual journey, you're going to learn that. And you're going to start to pay attention, because you're not going to want to keep going through these lessons, learning things over and over and over again. You're learning the same lessons with different people. That's why you keep saying, oh, well, why I keep getting the same type of women, why I keep getting the same type of men, why I keep getting the same type of bosses. That is because there's a lesson that you're needing to learn, and you're not learning it. You have to keep repeating it. And you're going to keep repeating it until you pass the test. Once you pass the test, you will no longer have to repeat that lesson. I guarantee you, you won't. There's going to be a new set of lessons. Okay. So after that, like I said, I started back. Um, I went back to travel nursing, because if it wasn't for travel nursing, I wouldn't have a place to stay. I was in a car accident, so I didn't have a car, and I wouldn't have had a place to stay. I wouldn't have had a car to drive. I wouldn't have any money or anything. I mean, that's a lot. That's detrimental. I've never been put out like that. Never, never. So, like I said, that was a grave lesson. And I left that. I've never looked back. Never looked back. When somebody does that, or you go through that, you forgive that person and you honor and be thankful for the lesson that they gave you, because that was their mission. You cannot fault people for doing things to you, because number one, allowed it. Okay. Nobody can do anything to you that you, basically what I'm saying is, you're giving them permission to do it. You're not saying, oh well, yes, come cheat on me. No, it's not saying that. What I mean by you allowed it is the red flags were already there. You just didn't pay attention, or you saw them and you ignored them. That's what I mean by you allowed it. You allowed it to happen. You knew what it was and you allowed it to happen. So for that, you cannot fault the person, because nobody can go any further or to you no more than you allow them to do. Okay? Nobody put a gun to my head and said that I had to be with this man. No, nobody said that. That was your choice. And I said all that to say, oh my goodness, where did I leave off at? If you guys are coming into the chat, put in where you're, drop your city and state in the chat so I can see where you're joining from. I'm going to be doing this every Friday at 11. And I'm trying not to put a time on there, any restrictions, because life happens, things happen. So I'm just going to go live every Friday. Okay, let's move on. So after that, because I did all that ranting to say something, I forgot what it was to say. But basically, nobody can do anything to you that um, you don't allow. You give them the green light. You open the door to certain things and to treat you in certain ways. And unfortunately, sometimes we can't get out of those situations, and it does create trauma in some kind of way. And we as human beings have to learn, and spiritual beings, we have to learn how to cope with that. And if you've had traumatic experiences as children, we, even as adults, we create our own safe space. And that's where we retreat to. We may withdraw from society. We may um, uh, turn to alcohol, drugs, whatever, just to cope with it, to numb it, to numb the pain. Eating addictions. You turn to some type of addiction, something that's unhealthy. Something that's unhealthy. And, you know, unfortunately, we have to learn how to heal. Now we've got something bigger. Now we've got therapy, you know, that we have to either pay for or turn to friends and family for therapy, you know, and it's nothing but just, talking about things, that's where your beauty shops and your barber shops come in at, and social gatherings, and you know, talking on the phone late night friends and stuff like that, talking out your problems. Girl, yeah, he did this to me. Oh, what? Oh my goodness. And what did you do? And girl, let me tell you, and he did it, whatever. That's therapy. Okay. Some people call it gossiping, but that is therapy, because you need somebody to vent to. And that's all your therapist is doing, your coach is doing. They're just listening. They're listening, and they are not giving you advice. They're helping you realize what happened and how you can fix it and move forward and to heal from it. That's all a therapist and a coach does. Okay. That's it. But so that was my journey as to my spiritual awakening. Okay. So I don't know if any of you can relate to certain things, or what I was saying, or going through situations like that. And if this does resonate with you, just drop a heart in the chat if this does resonate with you. This is not going to be for everybody's journey. Everybody wasn't cheated on. Everybody wasn't beaten. Everybody, there are different things. Some people go through spiritual awakenings from a job. I've done that. I've had toxic bosses, toxic jobs. Um, you have to learn how to set healthy boundaries and um, live an authentic life and just your truth. And it's a way to do anything. You don't have to be nasty about it. You can let people know where you stand and things that you will and will not go for in a nice way. You don't have to be nasty about it. Okay. So you have tried therapy but felt like you needed something more. I'm just curious. This is no shame to anyone. I'm not trying to call anyone out or corner anyone or anything like that. I just want to know, like, your takes on therapy, because most of us, for us that are in Black communities, for some reason we just don't believe in therapy. So we turn to each other and we turn to other people for therapy that we just have to talk to, big mama, that auntie, that cousin, that uncle, that friend, you know sitting in the hair salon for hours. Okay. And you guys just, I grew up in Detroit, so I remember going to the hair salon, and we'd be in there. Me and my mom would be in there for, oh my goodness, for at least 3 hours for the both of us getting our hair done. And it would be people coming in there selling things, clothes, jewelry, uh, whatever. So anything you want, you can get from the barber shop or the beauty shop. Okay. And they would sell dinners. They would come in there and sell dinners. So I mean, you could, and then they just sit in there and they just gossip. Yeah, I caught my man cheating, and this and that. And girl, let me tell you what I did. Yes, I caught her. Yes, yes. I was in the grocery store and I caught them together and I gave them a piece of my mind. And girl, what? And yes, honey. So that was therapy. And I remember that. I do. I remember listening to all of that. There was nothing censored. So I just want to know your takes on what you feel therapy is. Have you tried it? And it's not, if you think that you need therapy, there's nothing wrong with that. It's healing. It's healing. Especially if you felt that you're carrying a weight that you just can't name. You don't know what it is. You just feel heavy. You feel overwhelmed. Um, you just, you need to release. And release is when you just talk to someone. Like they say, when you're in church and the minister would say, just give it up to God. Just give it up to God. That is therapy. That is talking out your problems. Okay. There's no one in the room. That is just, it's just therapy. It's self-love. And you can journal. There's different ways to go through therapy. Okay. You don't have to sit on somebody's couch. You don't have to pay thousands of dollars for a life coach. There are things that you can do that are just healing, a getaway, you know, like the retreats that I do, they are just 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just 3 days, just 3 days to just vent and go through like a mini healing session. Okay. So I mean, so drop a yes in the chat if you've ever felt stuck in the same patterns, repeating the same cycles over and over and over again. And I know all of us have done that. That is not just some of you. All of us have done that. Just repeated the same cycles. And this is what I was talking about by if you don't learn the lessons, you're going to repeat these cycles. Life, evolutionary life is cyclical. We're going to repeat cycles. Just like what's going on today with this administration. This is nothing that we haven't gone through before. This is something that we're experiencing now because we're new to this. But if you go back in history, this has happened before. This is how they got to the United States, is because they broke away from England because of the same thing that was going on. History does nothing but repeat itself. It is a cycle. Don't forget to drop in the chat where you guys are joining from. I mean, joining from where you guys are. Yeah, where you guys are joining from. Drop in your drop your city and state. I'm getting tongue tied. So, and then what's the one thing that you know you need to heal from, but you've been avoiding it? You don't want to face it. For me, a long time was fear. Was fear. Fear of being seen. Okay. I've started multiple businesses and I would just rather stay in the background. I don't want to be out in public. I don't want to be out in public. But Spirit says you have to be out in public. You have to tell your story. You have to be out in public. So here I am. And the more you do it, so basically the only way to overcome something is to just do it. If you have a fear of dating, just start dating. It's easier said than done because my fear of just being out in the public, I just had to do it. I mean, I can go, I go to the movies by myself. I go shopping, or I go to the clubs by myself. You know, I don't need an entourage to go somewhere. That's not what I'm saying about being out in public. I mean, like being on camera, okay, in front of people. Because right now I'm in front of millions of people. So I had to face that fear. And the only way to face it is to do it, is to just jump right in with both feet. So just put in the chat, what are your fears? You don't have to share any specifics or anything like that. And like I said, if it's something that you don't want everybody to know since we're live, you don't have to put that in the chat. You can message me privately and I will I will address it, and I won't say any names or anything like that, but we can discuss it. And then what was the last time you gave yourself permission to really feel emotions? Emotions. Some of us were taught that we bury our emotions. I have three girls, and raising three black females is hard because you don't want them to experience. I didn't want my girls to experience the same things that I did um, in my life, and two of them did. Um, the way I raised them was to be tough and not show any emotion. And that made them, I feel, a target for other people to abuse them because it was triggering for men thinking that these women think that they're better than men, or I'm going to show her that that I can break her, that she's going to listen. And that's not how they were raised. So therefore, that was a negative. So unfortunately, they had to go through that. And then for my son, I taught him that, even though he's a male and he has to be strong, it's okay to be emotional. So it was like reverse. When actuality, I should have been teaching all of them it's okay to show emotion, and it's so and still have to be strong. That doesn't mean that you don't show emotion. Like, I rarely let people see me cry. People see me upset, but cry, no, no. You know, people have experienced divorce, loss, some sort of major transformation that has just knocked them off their feet. If you guys have experienced something like that, put what you've experienced. Just put divorce or something like that in the chat. And then put in the chat what it would feel like if you were to wake up tomorrow morning and feel like a weight has been lifted. Put in there peaceful or whole. I'm just trying to see where people are at, where they're coming from, who's experienced divorce, loss. And we're coming up at the end of the year. So, the end of the year, the veil is thinning right now. And the end of the year is the close of a cycle. Like I said, we're all about cycles and phases in life. And this is coming to an end. Okay. So at the end of the year, this is when you start to experience a lot of death. It's a cleansing. It's a purge. Okay. People dying, people moving around, moving from state to state, moving from house to house. Um, just different types of transitioning, divorce, separation, and how would you feel if you could just glide through that, and understand it better, especially some type of loss. If you could just, yeah, you would miss that person. If that person was to pass away, you would miss that person, but how would it feel to be able to honor that person and have the memories and not feel pain, even though pain is a part of the healing process. But still, what if it was a way where you could feel less pain every day as the days go on, rather than waiting months where they say, oh, this too shall pass. Yeah, this too shall pass. But what if it didn't have to be that bad? What if it didn't have to hurt that bad? Because you have an understanding of the grief process. And then you wouldn't feel so isolated, and feel like nobody gets it, nobody understands you. It's hard. It's hard when you feel that you're all alone and nobody cares, nobody understands what you're going through. And that's the biggest thing I hear a lot, is nobody understood my pain. Nobody understood what I was going through. If they only walked in my shoes, could they really understand what I was going through? Sometimes you don't have to walk in anybody's shoes. You just have to learn how to have empathy for that person and show them, look, there's a better way. You don't have to go through this. There's a better way. And a lot of people have, you see them and they're smiling. You ever seen somebody, they're always smiling every time you see them? They're like, I had a coworker ask me, um, you're always happy. Are you always this happy? And I told him, I said, well, yeah, life is not that serious. You know, life is not that serious. You can't wear your feelings on your shoulders all the time. Nobody's going through what you're going through, you know, even though two people may be going through a divorce, but I guarantee you it's different. They're having a different experience. No two things are the same. So people smile and they're dying on the inside. It's a coping mechanism and it's exhausting. It's exhausting to keep up that charade, to do that every day. It is physically exhausting. It's draining. And if you're tired of just surviving and not thriving, because you got to get out of that survival mode and get into that thrive. Okay, that thrive where I don't worry about anything. I don't worry about where my next meal is coming from. I don't know. I don't worry about how I'm going to pay my bills. You just have no worries. Even though you may not have that much money, you just don't worry about it. That's thriving. But when you're in survival mode, you are always on edge. That creates physical ailments. And that is putting in the universe that you want to experience these things. When you are in thrive mode, you're of that experience because you're showing the universe that, yes, I want more of this. I don't want to have to worry about bills. I don't want to have to worry about where I'm going to lay my head. Give me more. Give me more. Okay. But when you're in that survival mode, universe is going to give you what you want. You don't have to speak it. We manifest things just by our actions. You don't have to speak anything. Your action speaks volumes. And this is one thing that we have to learn as spiritual beings that are now awakened, that you got to watch what you say and do. Mostly what you do. You have to put that action into it. Okay? Let me give you an example. You know you need to look for a job. You put in one application, two applications, nothing bites. You keep putting in 10, 20, 30 applications, you start to see results. People start calling you back. People start emailing you. Okay? That is because you're putting that action into it. First you put the intention, you say it because you think it, or maybe you've told people, I got to get a job. I got to change careers. I have to do this, that, or whatever, the third. And then you put the intent out there because now you're thinking about it and you're putting it into motion. Okay. And when you start to motion, now you're doing the action because you're writing the resume, you're sending the resumes out, you're filling out the applications. Okay. Now you're starting to get results. And now you're starting to go on job interviews. Okay. And then once you start to do that, then it manifests. Now you're getting offers from 2 and 3, 5 jobs all at once. Now you have to use discernment on which one is best for you. That is how you apply that same scenario to every area of your life. That's when you're in thrive mode, not survival. Survival is, I got to get a job. Nobody's calling me back. I don't know what to do. I'm down to my last dollar. No. If that's the case, you're not gonna you're gonna one or two things or both things are gonna happen. You're gonna get offers from low paying jobs, or nobody's gonna bite. Okay. So we got to get out of that thrive mode and get into the survival. I'm sorry. Let's get out of that survival mode and get into the thrive mode. We want to be thriving, not surviving. We want to be thriving. You're not going through this healing journey just to be surviving. No. No, we're thriving now. But what's keeping you stuck right now? Again, I asked that question earlier. What's keeping you guys stuck? Is it fear? Is it shame? Or is it just not knowing where to start? Okay. And if you are, what would your life look like in a year from now? If nothing changed, just think about it. Okay. Just really think about it. If you change nothing in your life a year from now, even 6 months, what would that look like? For me, if nothing changed in 6 months, I still be working that job. I would still be doing sporadic videos, dibbling, dabbling here and there, you know. But if you don't jump with both feet in and do, even if it's just small steps, just do something little by little every day, you be surprised how it adds up and how the universe is going to use that momentum and give you what you want, and it's going to manifest faster than you think. So in 6 months to a year, what you think is going to happen will double. And then how much longer are you willing to carry this weight, this burden? How much longer are you willing to be where you are now? Are you comfortable where you are now? Even if you're making six figures, are you comfortable? Because I live in Washington State. Six figures is minimum wage. Just saying. That's barely surviving. If you're struggling with weight loss, what are you willing to change? You can lose weight without exercising. All you have to do is just change your diet, eat healthy. You don't have to go on a diet. You just change it. Anything that you bring a change to will make a difference. That's why these diets don't last. You may lose weight with them, and then after a month or two, you stop losing the weight. Your body gets adjusted to it. So I'm also a cosmetologist. So when I tell my clients that you need two shampoos and two different conditioners. You need one with protein, and then you need one with condition with uh moisture, a humectant. Okay. You want to use the protein once a month, and you can use the moisture for the rest of the time. The protein stops the breakage, the moisture adds luster and makes it healthy. Oh, I'm sorry, three shampoos. You need one that's a clarifying shampoo to use at least once a week. That strips all the buildup from hairsprays and the other conditioners and shampoos off your hair. If you keep using the same shampoo all the time, it does not, your hair gets accustomed to it. It gets used to that shampoo, and it's not going to perform like it does on the commercials and make it all nice and fluffy and, whatever. So, like I said, you're missing out because you're stuck in this pain, you're stuck in this lifestyle, you're stuck in this space. You're just stuck, and you're missing out on what life has to offer, what spirit has to offer you, what the universe, who however you see it in your life, God has to offer you, because you're stuck and you're carrying too much weight. You need to release it. You need to release it. You need to release dead weight, whether it's a change careers. I'm not saying quit your job, change careers, change jobs. Don't let go of a job until you get another one. Okay. If you don't like the career you're in, start investing in yourself and learning a new trade, doing something different so that you can get out of that. Drop people that are not for you. You know, there's different things you can do. And then another part of this is self-care. What what self-care routine do you have? Okay. Facials, going to movies, um, going out on dates, going shopping, watching your favorite Netflix at home, doing something that you love to do, going to an art class, what is that, sipping art or whatever, sipping paint, just going out doing something, or just doing something in general that you love to do, a hike, go to the gym. If you love to work out, go to the gym. Those are all self-care things. Even just watching a comedy movie, it's all self-care. Just doing things that makes you happy. Okay. And that's also inner child. Inner child is doing things that makes you happy. You guys need to get more sleep, rest, pay attention to your body when your body says you need to rest. If you don't pay attention to your body and rest when you need to, That's when you develop ailments, and you, you're just gonna rest, either willingly or unwillingly. Okay, you're gonna catch a cold. You're going to uh, something's going to happen to where you're going to need to rest. My youngest daughter, she draws a lot, and she has this drawing pad. And the other night, she couldn't find the stylus to it. She looked all over. Oh my God, it was irritating. She looked all over for this stylus. And I told her, I said, that's the universe telling you that you need to rest. You don't need to draw all the time. You need to just take a break. Oh, no, no, no. Because the universe said that I need to keep going. Okay, well, she didn't find that stylus till the next night. And it was peaceful for everybody because she was not up in the middle of the night drawing with the lights on. Okay. So I'm just saying, don't listen to the universe, the science, synchronicities, however you, whatever it is that you practice or what you believe in. If, there are ways that your body, your lifestyle can tell you that you need to slow down, you need to cut certain people out of your life, you need to change your diet. There's something in your life that you need to change. You need to get more rest. Our We have a circadian rhythm, okay? Which is at night we sleep and we rise early in the morning. When you sleep at night, that moon, it heals you. It's healing. Your body regenerates. You guys need to get out in nature. You need to do things that can ground yourself. Okay? Breath work. There are a ton of videos on YouTube that teach you how to do breath work. Breath work is healing. You can heal a lot of ailments with just breathing. It's breath work is a rhythmic breathing. Let me see if I can get the definition of breath work. It says breath work is the practice of consciously using breathing exercises to influence mental, physical, and emotional health. It works by activating the nervous system to promote relaxation or energize the body, depending on the technique. Slow, deep breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system to reduce stress and promote relaxation, while faster, more intense methods can release stored energy or emotions. Tell me you guys don't need that. It's healing. Breathing is healing. To air is human. Okay. If you had to heal, if you, well, you have to heal, but if you had to pick your healing process and space, would you rather do it alone or would you rather do it in a community? Put in the chat if you rather do it alone or you rather do it in a community. You do it in a community, you guys help heal each other. When I first started coaching, I used to do one-on-one coaching, and I had uh, where I did also group coaching, but I wanted to do the one-on-one coaching because I felt that, I could help someone on an individual basis. But later on, I learned that group coaching is better, and I dropped the one-on-one services. I no longer offer that. So I do the group coaching because as a community, we help each other heal. And that's why I have the Facebook group, um, to build a community to where we help each other. Okay. You may have questions, somebody may have answers, or you may have answers to someone else's questions, or maybe it's just um, to listen, to offer someone support, to be each other's support system. So I want to do a little visualization exercise with you guys. So I hope you guys are sitting somewhere where you're comfortable. I know some of you may be at work listening to this, or driving or whatever, so you really can't do this, but you can always go back and look at the replay once you get situated. But I want you to close your eyes for a second and just imagine yourself 3 days from now feeling lighter, more whole, and just think about what that version of you looks like. Just visualize that. What does that look like for you? What would it mean to finally feel at peace with your past? And if you went to a retreat, if you could walk away from the retreat with one transformation, what would that transformation be? I just want you to think about these things. What would you walk away with? Also think about what your biggest fear is about deep healing work. And that means getting down deep to the core, facing your fears, facing your traumas, okay? Basically facing your demons. That's what dark night of the soul is. It's just facing the blockages. And during the retreat, I teach you different ways to address it in a safe space, to where you don't feel traumatized, so that it I create a safe space so that you feel comfortable of talking about things, letting things out, because that's the only way you're going to get through this. You got to talk it out. You've got to feel it. Healing work is all about feeling emotions. How did that make you feel? How does it make you feel now? Okay. And like I said, are you nervous about just being vulnerable in front of strangers. Maybe I didn't say that. But are you feeling nervous about being out in front of strangers? And if so, this is why we create the safe space. These retreats are no more than 5 people, sometimes less. I've done retreats with just one person, believe it or not. So it doesn't have to be a ton of people. The more the merrier, that's fine, but I cap it off at 5. If you had to, if you were offered, if I gave you an offer today, what would stop you from saying yes to yourself today, of getting healing right now? What would stop you from saying yes to yourself, to investing in yourself? Is it money or time? Just be honest. If money and time wasn't an issue, what would be stopping you right now? And what would make you feel safe enough to take the next step? How ready do you feel? There's no wrong answer, but how ready, on a scale of 1 to 10, how ready do you feel to do this work, to change your life? How ready are you to make this change? Again, there is no wrong answer. What would make you say hell yes to this? This is for me. What is a hell yes for you? Who's feeling pull right now to do this? Who's ready to step forward and take this next step? If you're ready, drop ready in the chat right now. And if you want more information about this, drop curious, and we can talk about it. If you have any questions and you don't want to put them in the chat or whatever, you know, put curious in there and we can talk about it. I'll answer whatever questions you have. I'll answer whatever questions now that you have. If you want to ask, if you could ask me anything about the retreat, anything about healing, or whatever it is that you feel the need to talk about right now, what would it be? Put it in the chat. And for those of you that are, um, for those of you that feel that you are not ready yet to step forward to do a retreat or whatever, you, like I said, there's different ways you can do healing. Right now, I'm offering on this live right now, I'm offering my depression recovery toolkit. It's a great place to start. It's a 7-day depression discovery toolkit. This is it here. Okay. And I'll put the link down below. Where is it? No, here it is. There. You guys can just um, do the QR code, and it's normally $27. I have it in my stand store for $27, but you guys can download it free today. But only during this live will it be free. I've unlocked it so you guys can get it free now. Yeah, this is a complete step-by-step slideshow guide. You guys download it, and it's a step-by-step process that is designed to support you through emotional recovery and spiritual renewal. So each day focuses on a specific healing practice to help you release what's holding you back and reclaiming your inner peace. There are self-care rituals that actually work. There's inner child healing activities. There's integration practices, um, journal prompting. So you guys need to get a journal or just a notebook or anything to start journaling. If you journal every day, or just journal if something's bothering you, or you just need to talk and you have nobody to talk to, just journal, just write it down. You'd be surprised how much that helps. And then there's daily healing exercises and powerful affirmations for courage and self-love. And it's just 15 to 20 minutes a day. It's not anything strenuous. It's not anything that that you have to like really really commit to. Okay. I'm going to leave that up there for a while, but this is the toolkit. You guys can go ahead and download that. It's only free during this live. Otherwise, it's $27, and you guys can download that in the stand store. And then, like I said, too, there's a Facebook group for community building, um, that we can just support each other. And if you guys want some support, just do hearts in the chat. Just drop blue hearts in the chat. If you got anything out of this live today, who feels more hopeful than they did an hour ago? If you feel more hopeful and that you can make a change than you did an hour ago, put me in the chat. And I'm going to put up the Facebook group again to, oh, there it is. It's still streaming. Okay. Duh. And you guys share this live with people. Sometimes the universe brings us exactly what we need, doesn't bring us what we want a lot of the time. Sometimes it does, because sometimes your wants are exactly what you need. And just know that you guys deserve healing, you deserve peace. And you got to really believe that. You got to really believe that. Stop apologizing for taking up space and start owning your own healing. Forgive people for what they do to you, okay? Because just like you had a purpose here, you played a part, they played a part too. They had to be the catalyst to get you moving, to keep you on the right path. Just like you are somebody's catalyst too for their healing, okay? And you're only responsible for your own healing. You're not responsible for anybody else's. So if you never been to a healing, to a retreat before, I just want to read you guys some testimonials about the retreat and the 7-day toolkit. So this guy, he attended one of my retreats. He's from Bellevue, Washington, here in Washington State. He says his name is David. He says, after losing my mom last year, I spiraled into a depression I couldn't climb out of. Therapy healed, therapy helped, but I needed something more immersive. When I found a vet's retreat, I knew I had to go. The weekend was transformative. Yvette's approach is trauma informed, which meant I never felt pushed or pressured. Everything was at my own pace. The inner child work on day 2 broke something open in me. I reconnected with a part of myself I'd forgotten existed. Where was that? What I loved most was the balance. We did deep emotional work, but there was also laughter, good food, and moments of peace by the pool. It wasn't all heavy. It was healing in this truest sense. The post retreat support has been incredible too. Yvette checks in regularly, and the group chat with the other attendees helps me accountable helps me keeps me accountable. I'm putting words in there that should not be. I'm not the same person who showed up that Friday. I'm lighter, more present, and finally starting to feel like myself again. If you're grieving, stuck, or just exhausted from carrying pain alone, this retreat will meet you exactly where you are. And that was David. I remember him. He was really reluctant to open up. He didn't know if this would work for him or not. And then I just got these uh these mini ones that I just pulled off the website. Says check in. This is Jordan. Yvette's check in emails made me feel like someone actually cared. That alone was worth downloading. Then Marcus says, this toolkit gave me hope when I thought nothing would work. The practices are simple but powerful. Then Maya says, the small group made all the difference. I felt safe, seen, and supported the entire weekend. So yeah, then I had a video to show you guys. I wanted to show you guys this video of let me see. Is it here? Nope. I wanted to show you guys this video. Where did it go? I wanted to show you guys this video of what it's like to like a day in the retreat. Let me start back. Stop. No. Okay, here we go. So the retreats are at Airbnb. So this is one of the Airbnbs. And when you walk in, it looks like this. This video is really slow. Then there's a group of us having dinner. So when the retreat starts at 5 p.m., have dinner, and it's like a meet and greet with everyone. Why is this moving like this? Then the next morning, Saturday morning, you go on a hike. This is one of the hiking spots, the trails. No, that's not right. Yeah, it jumped ahead. Let me get back. So that was the trail. Okay, so play. And then this is one of the sessions. This lady, she really had a breakthrough. This is through Dark Night of the Soul. But we have group sessions, and there's a clip in here. The group session. Yeah, there it is. So this is what group therapy looks like when you're at the retreat. And like I said, she had a breakthrough. Dark Night of the Soul. It brings up a lot of hidden and buried emotions, trauma. It just brings it out. And then later on that night, we have well, after that is not showing, but after that we do massage therapy, which is a lymphatic massage to move all of that trauma out of your body through your lymph nodes. And then so this is the bonfire that you guys are seeing. This is part of the inner child work. So we just gather and we enjoy each other and we tell stories and play music and dancing or whatever. Yeah, see, massage. I don't know why this video is playing like this. It's backwards. I think it's my internet connection. Yeah. And then Saturday night, we have a, after the bonfire, we have food and we just dance and just have fun. This is like that celebration that, yes, I've done the work. This is my healing process. And that's the end of the treat. She was so cute. Just like, bye. She did not leave. So, yeah. So, it's really fun. We have a lot of fun together. I love doing the retreats. I wish I had did this when I first started coaching. It is so rewarding. And every weekend we have a lot of fun. Like today, so it's 1:45 here in Washington State, and I'll be leaving in a little bit, getting up there to be getting everything set up because they start arriving at 5 o'clock, and getting everything prepared. So, if you guys want to sign up for a retreat, um, this weekend for October is the last one because of Halloween for this month. And then after that, because of the holidays, we're just going to do one for November and one for December. So want to, if you guys want to sign up for the retreat, just put retreat in the chat and I will be in touch with you. And like I said, it's 3 days. You guys arrive Friday evening at 5, and then by Sunday noon, you're gone. So it's not tying up your entire weekend. You still have Sunday evening to relax, rewind, get ready for Monday for those of you that work. So, what part of the retreat sounds most appealing to you? Is it the breath work, the shadow work, massage? Most people like the massage, or is it the community? So after you guys uh at the retreat, I encourage you guys to exchange phone numbers, emails, and one of the requirements is to join the community, um so that you can be a support system for each other. It's sort of like being a support system like they do in AA and NA, okay? To be that support system for each other. You feel like you're feeling down and you call each other for moral support, you know, so that you don't crash. You hold each other up, you hold each other accountable, okay? So I'm not going to stay on here any longer. This has been, oh my goodness, 2 hours. I got to get going because I got to get everything set up. So thank you for joining my live. And like I said, this will be out for replay. And you can always catch this on YouTube. It'll be on there. And I will talk to you guys soon. Keep your vibrations high. Bye bye.